Hi guys, so I saw this movie recently and as usual I'm here to share it with you in form of a review. The title of this movie is Hidden Roots and it features Alex Court, Miwa, Olorunfemin, Clinton Joshua and a few others. So in this movie, Lola, that's Miwa, is not happy, is not proud of her background, of her poor background. So she lies to her boyfriend that her family is in Canada because the boyfriend likes women of class. Now, this lie is despite the fact that her mother is very sick in the village, staying there in the village with her brother Zion. That's Lola's brother called Zion. Now, she wouldn't even send them money enough for them to go to the hospital to take care of the mom. Last time she sent money, she sent 8,000 naira. Now, when Zion couldn't have it anymore, he took the mother and found their way to Lagos, to an address that Lola had given them in the past, just in case. So they found their way to the address, and Lola was shocked to see them. They didn't want them to stay, got them a hotel to stay in, but Zion did not want to go back to the village. So he found a way to come back to the same house, Lola's boyfriend's house, where she's staying, and got a job there as domestic staff. Lola doesn't like this, of course, and does everything possible to frustrate his stay there so he would leave. Now, in the course of all of these things, the truth is unraveled. And that's what the movie is about. What do I like about this movie? A few things. I think the acting is decent. It's not terrific, it's not out of this world, and I don't think it's terrible as well. Clinton Joshua in particular, playing the role of Zion, was I think it was impressive, it was okay, he did well. There was room for more, but I think he did well playing the role of Zion. Lola as well gave it her best shot, she tried as well. And so did Jaden, that's Alex Court, Lola's boyfriend. I also think I like the story, the idea of teaching through that story. A lot of times we want art to teach something positive because people will consume art a lot. So it will make sense if art does teach people something positive. And I think that's what the movie is trying to do. The story of the movie is that parents should be careful of what they say to their kids because they could hurt their children, they could scar them with words and the children would turn out negative. So Lola became terribly disappointed with the family because of the way she was raised, because of the way people mocked her for being poor, and because of the way the mom blamed her for their situation. So she did not want to be associated with them much later when she touched success through her boyfriend. So the story there, it's out there for parents to learn. And so I have no issues with that. I think it's a good thing. Teaching through arts is something that even some of the biggest writers, some of the biggest artists or art critics, project or ask for. So this is a good thing. I think the last thing I would commend in this movie is the use of subtitles. I always thought that YouTube movies should have subtitles at the least. I mean, it's for inclusion, it encourages inclusivity, and it makes sense that even persons who cannot see can at least follow the movie, and it helps, it improves the viewing experience when you can read as well as listen. It's part of the reason some people love going to the cinema to see movies, because you're guaranteed there's always going to be subtitles for you to watch. But are there things I don't like about the movie? Of course, very serious things, in fact. Number one of them is this movie ran for nearly 2 hours. That's an hour and 50 something seconds. For nearly 2 hours. And for nearly 2 hours, the story did not care to develop the characters. Jaden, that is Lola's boyfriend, for example, doesn't he have friends? He doesn't hang out with friends. He doesn't do boys hangout. He doesn't have visitors coming to see him. Only once we hear him on the phone talking to somebody about business. But for nearly 2 hours, we didn't get to know the sort of person this man is by what he does outside of the house, or by what people say about him outside of the house. Lola's case is even worse because she doesn't go to work. She is hardly ever on the phone talking to anybody. She is hardly ever at home watching movies, for example. Nothing. The character is not developed. She doesn't go out, and we are shown that she's outside doing something. She doesn't have people coming to visit her. For nearly 2 hours, the story was just narrow-minded, straight, rushing to achieve a singular aim. And of course, it's going to make the movie very, very boring. A lot of YouTube movies are guilty of this because they just want a particular ending. They don't care about developing any other thing in the movie. I expect to see better, and this is why I'm raising this as an issue. And the second issue, the second point is, I know that movies like this are very slim budgets and they try to do so much with so little, but you don't have to make it look too obvious that, man, you don't have the resources to do this. You can see that the movie for nearly 2 hours was, all about the village initially, and then when he moved to the city, it was just about that particular house for nearly 2 hours. And at the point when Zion came to the house for the first time with the mother and they were living at the gate, there was this zoomed out, shot where we saw that the house is an Airbnb apartment. So something like Chidex or Chupex, Airbnb. That's the thing that was written there. He didn't have to show that frame. As a matter of fact, the man didn't have to be outside the gate waiting for them to come out. He could have just been driving in and seen them living, and then he could have just asked the gatekeeper the same question he asked eventually: who are these people living? He didn't have to park there, be waiting for them and all of that. But that we wouldn't have seen that it was Chupex or Chidex Airbnb. You didn't have to show that part. These are small details I'm wishing that directors would take note of. These are the things that make big movies stand out from the small movies. Attention to details. And talking about attention to details, Zion, that's Clinton, Joshua, had very, nice hair, cold, groomed beard and all of that from the beginning when we saw him. And they remained like that towards the end of the movie. But this was a guy too busy caring after the sick mother, didn't have a social life, didn't have friends. He wasn't hanging out with anyone, wasn't talking with anyone on the phone in the name of friendship. He didn't even have time to go out, to go anywhere, not even when he came to the city. So how come his beard and hair looked all well groomed all the freaking time? These are small details. You should sometimes let it run wild, let the hair be overgrown, let the beard not be so clean, not be so cute. But movies now, the guy was already like that before they went to set. And because the movie was shot in just a couple of days, he looked that cute and clean. Details to attention shouldn't matter. All right, so this is just the movie for me. Like I always say, I have a different set of criteria for judging YouTube movies. I always say I understand that they are run on very tight budget. They may not have the resources to do all they're supposed to do. So I try to be kind when waiting them, because if I were to use normal standard, probably would be very brutal. So based on that, this one, using my standards for assessing YouTube movies, this one for me is I would say 4/10. 4/10, and this is me being nice, so 4/10. But then, hey, go and see it for yourself and make up your mind if this movie is a 4/10, less than 4/10, or better than 4/10. And come back in the comment section and tell me why. Till then, see you in the next one.